if you're called to want to be a part of the protection spell I'm doing tomorrow night, which is April 11th, 2022. If that's something that you feel you want to do, just let me know. Leave a comment down below and let me know. Or you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is demisoindigo. So you can DM me there. But just let me know, preferably before, I would say let me know before April 11th, noon Central Standard Time. Let me know so that way I can make sure that I receive what I need from you, meaning your petition. This is not something I'm charging for. So, you know, there's that as well, as this is just something that I feel called to do. So I'm not, and because it's so last minute, I'm not going to charge for this. What is going on, beautiful beings and conscious co-creators? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys in advance for watching, subscribing, and all of that. Today's video is going to be a pick a card. I haven't done one in a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and do one today. And today is going to be one just talking about giving you uplifting messages, talking about the good in your life. Sometimes when we kind of just get caught up in what we don't like and we focus on the things that aren't going right. So I just want to kind of, give a pick a card that is giving you some uplifting messages, inspiring messages. This is just a feel good tarot reading. So first things first, I want to light a specific candle, and I've been burning this candle. I burned this candle all day yesterday. Just because I was feeling particularly under the weather, and I'm noticing that there is a lot of conflict in my direct reality, and that was one of the reasons why I felt called to do this reading, particularly because sometimes when things hit home for myself, I personally feel like it's also happening with a lot of other people. We can all sort of relate, and the reason for that is because we're all connected in some way, shape, or form. So this video is particularly intended to those who are feeling a lot of conflict in their life right now, a lot of strife. Things just aren't working out the way that you wanted them to. And, for those even who are just kind of feeling like life is just getting a little difficult right now. It's not that you know that you can't do it. You can, but just right now it's just very uncomfortable. You're in a very uncomfortable place in your season or in your cycle. I am intending for this reading to bring a smile to your face at the least. So I am going to light this protection candle that I was gifted from a birthday, I think a year or so ago. But I also wanted to say that I am doing my own protection spell on Monday. This video I'm recording right now is on April 10th. So this is really no time at all to let you guys know, but I do say in my description box that I do want to start doing more candle work, spell work, whatever you want to call it. It's basically work that I do. Spiritual work is what I like to call it. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a protection spell specifically on Monday, April 11th of 2022, and I'm doing it for myself. However, I do want to extend space for those who feel particularly called. I do understand that I don't have, what would you call that? Like, I don't have the backing of, previous work shown. I mean, I have some stuff, but like my spiritual work, like the actual spiritual work I do, I don't really show online. So I understand if you wouldn't want to, I get it, but I'm just extending it because I know for me and my family, at least, even though it's not broadcasted to the internet, the work that I do, it shows up. And one of the people that I follow and hold dear to my heart always talks about protection and cleansing and layering. So you can never have too many rounds basically, of protecting yourself. So this is yet another round that I'm doing. So anyway, I'm going to light this. I didn't mean for this intro to be super long, but if you are called to, if it's on your heart to, I'm going to put this protection candle off to the side, but if you are called to want to be a part of the protection spell I'm doing tomorrow night, which is April 11th, 2022. If that's something that you feel you want to do, just let me know. Leave a comment down below, and let me know. Or you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Demi So Indigo, so you can DM me there. But just let me know, preferably before. I would say let me know before April 11th, noon Central Standard Time. Let me know, so that way I can make sure that I receive what I need from you, meaning your petition. This is not something I'm charging for, so there's that as well. As this is just something that I feel called to do. So I'm not, and because it's so last minute, I'm not going to charge for this. I may not charge for a couple of my my work. I will post some stuff on the channel just because I know visually it can be very helpful for other people. So I will have footage of that, not the whole process, obviously, but I will kind of show some of it. And yeah, without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get started. Where are my little... Hold on, we're not going to get started just yet. Hold on. I need my little tiles. All right, so we're gonna do 3 groups. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are the 3 tiles. I need you guys to pick one, and I will put the timestamps in the description box. I'll also add them to the comment section as well, just for convenience sake. But yeah, go ahead and pick your tile, your group, and kind of try to focus on relaxing yourself and being open to receiving the messages that are in store for you. Okay. And with all of that, ashe, and let's go ahead and get started with group 1, groups 2 and 3. I will see you guys at your timestamp. All right, let's go. All right, group 1, we are here. As I said earlier at the beginning of the video, we're looking for any feel-good messages that Spirit has for you, messages of encouragement. Thank you. It says the eyes of beauty, positive expectations, clarity. Ooh, how wonderful is that? Positive expectations and clarity immediately popped out. I'm actually going to keep shuffling. I'm feeling like I need to keep shuffling, so we're going to go with it. But I want to say that this card is giving me this feeling of, people may not really understand you. People may not understand what it is that you're doing. But I feel like at some point they're going to see it. It's going to hit home. It's going to be this realization of what it is that you bring to the table, what it is that you can offer, how amazing it is, how helpful it is, whatever way that you kind of present yourself. I feel like you feel misunderstood, but honestly, I feel like Spirit is kind of shielding you in a way. I don't know if you can see her. There you go. You can see it there. Spirit's kind of shielding you, it feels like. So you may not be getting the attention that you want right now, but I think that it's all in the timing that it needs to happen. There's still some things I feel like there's still some things that Spirit's kind of like wanting you to experience first before you're really put out there. But it's super positive. I feel like whatever way that you're desiring to be seen, whether that is in a relationship, whether that is in a career. As something is telling me, it feels like this is kind of career as well. Like you're wanting to, you're wanting your talents to be seen, your skills or your abilities. Maybe you're some sort of creative, I don't know why, for some reason I'm feeling like the word baker is coming to mind, like someone who bakes or cooks, something with presentation where you're presenting something. I also see curation of art. So however it is that you're trying to be seen and you feel like your work is not being shown, and it's kind of discouraging because maybe you just keep putting yourself out there and you're not really getting the benefits that you feel you are entitled to. I will say, one, you definitely are entitled to that. But also patience is going to be something that is going to be a virtue is basically what I will say with this card. But whatever it is, just know that right now you are temporarily being shielded, but it does not speak to your actual skill or ability. Okay. So I don't want you guys to doubt yourself. You are incredibly talented. You are an amazing artist or curator or creative, whatever it is, you have it. You have what people are looking for. It's just patience and making sure that you are at the right place at the right time and you're prepared is more important, and maybe the thing Spirit is wanting you to focus on. Then we also have here the Dragon's Duel, and it says in the smaller words, inner conflict, morality, and conscious choice. The Dragon's Duel. So one, if you are dealing with any sort of kind of back and forth, self-doubt, cast that out. Cast out the negative self-talk, cast out the negative reinforcements that you may be feeling. Your inner self is trying to protect that most precious part of yourself that you do want to share. It feels like you're sensitive. And maybe that is one of the things that Spirit is wanting you to kind of work through. Because whatever it is that you're trying to get into or move into, you're going to need to develop a thicker skin. And so if you're going back and forth about whether or not the path that you've chosen is right for you, if you're going back and forth about whether or not to go back to whatever you were doing previously, I'm going to tell you that the inner conflict is not necessarily going to go away. That inner conflict is going to be there because it's not about what you choose to do. It's as far as like the outside world or this matrix, as I like to call it. It's all about your decision making and your thought processes. So even if you were to go back to what's safe, the inner conflict that you're feeling is going to keep bugging you because it's really telling you that the sensitivity, the delicate feelings that you may have about your craft or whatever it is, whatever this thing is that you're trying to showcase, I feel like you're very, people may feel the need to tiptoe around you, and that's not going to serve you. So, one, I want to say in the name of inspiration and encouragement, learning to not take things personal, will really set you up for success. And learning that sometimes a no does not have to mean that it is the end of your career, the end of your whatever. It just means that person wasn't feeling it at that moment. That same person could turn around and say yes. 50 people could say no and one person could say yes. But the reason that you keep going is because you're not taking it personally. You're not sensitive to the fact that they don't like it, the disappointment that you would have previously felt you've dealt with. So it doesn't bother you, okay? I want you to start learning how to not be so bothered, because where you're meant to go, there are going to be opinions. is basically what I'm saying. And I don't want those opinions, those naysayers, those haters, those critics, I don't want them to be the reason why you've been prevented from the blessings that are in store for you, basically. Whoa. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna take the one that fell on the floor. Oh, that's the word. This is the photo that I'm trying to show. There we go. So it looks like there's someone kind of standing on the back of a winged animal, and there's just massive amounts of colors. The person it's kind of, I love when imagery shows movement when it's a still photo. I love that. I love the way they do that. But that's kind of what this card is in capturing is free flowing movement. There is a real art to being allowing of the process. And I know that it's easier said than done, but I think that you guys are on the brink of massive overflow. I think that you guys are on the brink of so much favor. I see people getting to the point where they understand you and they see what you see. You have a vision, okay? You have a vision, you have a passion, you have a purpose. And I'm seeing with this, you are removing the expectations. See, because when you get to the place where you don't need someone to co-sign what your vision is, because that's how strongly you feel, I think that's when the resistance moves away. So learning to move without the accolades, learning to move without the recognition or the awards or the rounds of applause or the likes, learning to move without the support that you feel you need but you really don't, is going to really completely transcend what it is that you're trying to do. Because you are possibly looking for acceptance in other things, and really the only acceptance that you need is coming from within. As long as you are okay with what you're doing, as long as you feel that that is your most authentic contribution, and it sits well with you, it sits well with your spirit, and you have the approval of your ancestors, you're in alignment with source, that is all that matters. So my advice here for those of you guys who are feeling this way is to continue trekking on. All of that other stuff, that'll come later. The recognition, if that's what you want, it'll come later. I honestly think if we're speaking in the terms of law of attraction, you should walk as if you already have it. Whatever you identify as being that somebody, whatever that is, walk as if it already exists. It's only a matter of time before the universe has to play catch up to what it is that you're already envisioning. But I want you guys to stop being hard on yourself. I want you guys to stop giving yourself the negative self-talk. You are enough. You are worthy. You are talented. And if you want the recognition, you will get it. But it won't come from you constantly focusing on the fact that you have a lack of recognition, because all you're doing is sending more and more of that energy out. I'm going to pull some cards from one of my favorite decks. This is the Osho Zen Tarot. All right, so we initially have, I'm going to move this card over. We initially have inner voice comes out, and integration comes out. Interesting. It's a very interesting combination. And immediately, I'm going back to what we were talking about with the Dragon's Duel and how we talked about how there is an inner conflict going on with yourself, because there are things that you want to do, but you're also at the same time discouraging or dissuading yourself from doing it because, and then you fill in the blanks with whatever reasons you're giving yourself. But I really feel like the shield that I was talking about over here with the eyes of beauty, this is explaining that. I think once you pass this hurdle, abundance and recognition and financial opportunities will flow to you. Sometimes when we think about protection, we think about protection from other people. Normally we think of protection from outside sources, outside energies, from negative entities, but we don't really think about the protection from ourselves sometimes. Sometimes when we haven't gone through the healing process that a lot of us need to go through, that sometimes the thing that I personally feel like a lot of Christian churches, when they refer to the devil, a lot of that is just unhealed trauma, and it attacks us and it causes us pain and hurt. And we end up in our own personalized hell. And so when you skip the healing process and try to move to abundance, when you skip the healing process and you try to walk in your purpose, a lot of times you're conflicted. A lot of times you torture yourself. A lot of times you hurt yourself in more ways than one. And I think before we continue, and by we, I mean you, but I'm going to say we, because we're standing in solidarity. Before we continue on, it would really be a good idea to practice positivity from yourself, because I'm sensing that you're needing to protect yourself from the unhealed parts of yourself, basically. And so how you do that is by working through these things. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with shadow work, but that would be one of those, that would be one of the things I would suggest, which is basically going through those shadow parts, going through those parts that you have hidden and buried, and you never wanted these things to see the light of day because of whatever reason, guilt, shame, hurt, pain, whatever, working through that to the point where you don't have those negative emotions attached to it. Because the plot twist, and probably an unpopular opinion, you can have something happen to you, whether you feel you deserved it or not. You can have something happen to you that you don't associate negative emotions to, even though it could technically be considered a negative action. Meaning, I could have someone steal something from me, something valuable from me. I can have someone steal something valuable from me, and I can choose to think back on those moments and take away only negative. Or I can choose to say, you know what, that was an experience that I went through, and I'm open to learning what I needed to learn, and I'm going to move forward in positivity, because that is the only thing that I want to consciously, continuously attract into my life. That's the difference. So if someone steals something, I can choose to always reference that moment with negativity and disdain and anger, hurt, resentment, all of those negative, low vibrating frequencies. I can choose to reflect back on those moments, or I can choose to forgive the moment, the situation, the person. I can choose to say, you know what, that happened, and that kind of sucked, but I learned a lesson and I'm better for it, and I'm moving forward because I want to focus on only attracting pure positive light energy. But like, those are the kind of things that you have to practice doing with yourself in your mind. This is not, sometimes people need to go to like legitimate therapy to do this, and that is totally fine. It's not about the journey of how you get there. It's about the destination. As long as you get there, that's all I truly care about. As someone who doesn't know you but cares about you, I want you to get to that place because it's really in your best interest, because the eyes of beauty, the expectations that come after that are abundance. So when I see Osho Zen come out and they show up in inner voice, which is giving high priestess energy, mind you, but inner voice and integration. And this is also, I'm seeing with this card that you guys, it is something that you're trying to show. I think this is something that you do create or curate, or like I said, I was getting baker, and I do feel like it's something to do with cooking for some of you. But either way, I want to say that it's going to start with you got to work through those inner thoughts, because they're not going to go away. Doesn't matter you won't believe how many people with money are so incredibly unhappy. The answer is not money. Money makes it easier to distract yourself, but money can also make it easier to get the resources that you need to help yourself. But the issue is that money, like first and foremost, for most people who have not went through the healing process and don't practice awareness, money is really a big distraction. And I think that's what Spirit's trying to prevent, because this could really go down a very dark rabbit hole if it's not addressed. Card came out that says laziness. What is that? Turning in. Card didn't want to go back in. So we have laziness and we have turning in, which is interesting because she's definitely going inward. If you see, I want you guys to focus really quick on this specific card. Do you see those little voices around her? Or not voices, but those little, they look like heads in the clouds, like faces, not voices, faces. And you see how, zenned out she basically is. Her eyes are closed. She's still. You see how her skirt, or the bottom part of her, the lower part of her, looks like water. There's an allowance and free flowing. We talked about that with violation and being allowing and free flowing, and now we're seeing it continuously. And also the fact that the water is a theme here. I just want to point that out. And okay, I have a particularly how do I say that? I look at water as so many metaphorical things. And that's why I try to include it. Even when I started doing this new setup, if you notice that I have this cup filled with water, because it's one of those elements that is necessary, especially when you are inviting spirit in. You want to have all of the elements, but water particularly is such a huge aid symbolically when it comes to healing, when it comes to manifesting, because water is free flowing. Water is the thing. I think water, I'm trying to think if there's another thing, like an actual element, that's the easiest to like describe allowing. Because water is, it moves where it needs to move, and it stops where it needs to stop. And water has no resistance to the process, to the journey, whatever you want to put there. There's just no resistance. This card here turning in it's kind of like what I was talking about before with the self-talk that you guys have, monitoring that and learning how to dismiss the negative thoughts, learning how to replace those negative thoughts, the thoughts that you know don't serve you, the thoughts that you are probably repeating to yourself because you heard some other person who doesn't love themselves speak to you in a way that you feel like sometimes, especially when we're younger, we absorb other people's thoughts. So when you have a hateful person say hateful things to you, if you don't know yourself, you begin to accept those things that hateful person said as truth. So because they hate themselves, they kind of shed that energy onto you. And if you don't have that protection, that awareness, it attaches itself, and then you begin to absorb and take on. And it's like a virus. So what you need to do here is learn how to block that out. And again, I think that this is really preparing you for where you're going. When you learn how to block that out, when you learn how to tune it out, where it's all over, but it doesn't matter, because you know who you are. You have done the work, and so you don't allow anyone to tell you who you are, because you already know who you are. And if they say anything that's out of alignment with that, then it's a wrap. When you get to that point, then you're ready. Now I see this card here, laziness. And I want to point out that this card, I'm feeling from this specific card that it's really saying right now, the results are not going to be in the actual action. This is the card that's saying it's not about how hard you work, it's about how effective you work. So, bakers, for example, it's not about you making 10,000 cakes in a week so that you can make the most money. It's about making sure that every single cake has what it needs to produce. See, because you can do 10,000 cakes and they could be regular basic cakes, or you can make 100 cakes that week that are flawless. And everyone's going to remember those 100 amazing cakes than they will the 10,000 regular faceless cakes. They're not going to remember those. And so this card I'm interpreting as not focusing more on not the actual tangible results, and not focusing on thinking that you need to work harder. It's not that you need to work harder. Your work ethic is not in question here. And so this card is kind of saying, take a beat. Relax a little bit. Like if I had the regular tarot deck, I feel like this would literally be like Four of Swords. Take a second, relax. Because right now it's a mental game. This is not about how hard you work as far as why things haven't happened for you. This is about self-work. Exhaustion came out. Yeah, I think you guys really should relax. I think, and I mean, now I'm thinking like actually, like if you're able to, go to a spa, go to get a massage, take a day to pamper yourself, do a self-care day, take care of yourself, do things that make you feel good. Whatever that is, if that's a movie, if that's a dinner date, if that's a walk, if that's going swimming, whatever it is that you know, like, hey, I haven't done that in a while, because I know you guys haven't done it in a while. I know because of what I just got done talking about with the laziness card, because maybe you guys have this negative connotation to taking a break. Maybe you were told, your whole life that laziness, or the idea of what laziness is bad, and so you've tried your hardest to not go in that direction, and so you kind of have overworked yourself, and it's frustrating because maybe things just aren't yielding the results that you wanted them to, even though you've been working your butt off. And I think it's because, like I said, working harder does not always mean you're working smarter. So in the words of, or in the intention of giving you advice and encouragement, I would say, go find something that is not related to whatever this is that you do, that you maybe haven't done in a while, like go out for ice cream or go to a theme park, whatever that is. Just take a beat, take a second to just remember that you're still a being that came here to experience life. And if you have the means and you have the ability, don't forget to live. And be nice to yourself. I say this all the time in my readings, but it's because we forget sometimes that, we forget that we have feelings when it comes to ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. And so I'm going to say it. I don't know if I've heard anybody say it before, but you also need to create boundaries for yourself, within yourself. I mean, someone coming from the place of having to work her butt off to get to a place where she's not anxious, she doesn't experience panic attacks, the limiting beliefs that consumed her mind, I've had to create boundaries for myself that I stick to. Just like with anything, just like if you were trying to lose weight, you have to create boundaries for yourself. You know what? I'm not going to have pizza every day for the rest of the week because that doesn't speak to my weight loss. So that's a boundary, no pizza. So when you notice something about yourself that you want to change, like when I wanted to change the anxiety that was beginning to be debilitating for me, I had to create boundaries. So you know what? I noticed that when I think this, it turns into a snowball effect. So I'm no longer going to allow myself to go in that direction. I'm not going to allow myself to continuously think about why I'm afraid of this thing. I'm not going to do that. Whatever that looks like for you though, because this is the thing. No one, even the readers, like we can't tell you how to live your life. You have to tell you how to live your life. I can give you advice. I can show you an easier way, or a way that I perceive to be easier. I can do those things, but I can't force you. I can't tell you in a way that makes you do it, because you have free will to an extent. You have free will to this extent of spirit, of course, but as far as me and you are concerned, you have free will. One more card for the collective, those who picked group 1. One more card for them. Okay, we'll take the one that jumped. Ripeness. I'm going to pick a stone out of this bag. This is like a little bag that I have of colored little plastic stones. These aren't real crystals, but they all correlate to A lot of them correlate to the chakras, but I'm just going to add this because I want to. So this one, it's giving me, even though it's pink, it's still kind of like, it's like shades of red to me. And so it's giving me root chakra. It's giving me survival. But it's also giving me needing to ground yourself, literally ground yourself. So ripeness comes out too. And, you know, it's showcasing a tree, an apple tree. And I feel like stepping away from technology for a little bit would be in your best interest. I think it'll give you some time to remove the, maybe you guys are feeling kind of suffocated. Maybe you guys are feeling very pressured to perform or show up, and I get it, the way that this whole social media thing works, you know, especially when you're trying to be seen, you got to post every day. Sometimes you got to post 12 times a day. You've got to give a lot of yourself. And it's kind of extraordinary how people are able to do this, but it's also, I want you, if you guys have been paying attention, it's a lot of creators burning out because they are giving so much of themselves, and there is no self-care. There are no boundaries, and it's all for money, for a buck, to be able to say you made it, but you're sacrificing a lot. You're sacrificing a lot. And I know we don't talk a lot about, you know, well, I don't on this channel, I do in real life though, but the idea of what selling your soul looks like. And it doesn't have to be this grotesque, you know, cult Illuminati type of transaction. It really could just be what you see. I'm not going to name names, but there's a very, very popular family who will do just about anything for attention. The cameras need to be on. The scandals are money to them, and they are seemingly, I don't know. I don't even know how to say this, because I'm not trying to be insulting, but I want to just kind of point out that when you say that you will do just about anything for attention or money, you are in a way selling your soul. I'll say it like that. And the price is steep. Yes, you have attention, but now you have no privacy. Yes, you have money, but now you have to deal with all of this energy directed towards you. So, you know, everything comes with a price. Let's do some charms. A lot of tags. We got hope, beautiful, enough, namaste, love, a feather, mermaid, and this little symbol that I'm not quite sure what it is, but excuse me, I'm not quite sure what that symbol is, but I want to say that beautiful, enough, love. I'm seeing self-love. I think those are really good starting places for affirmations that you could be practicing, including those words: beautiful, enough, love, self-love, hope, and faith in the process. I think those are really good starters for affirmations that you guys could be creating to help yourself in this self-awareness and healing journey that you're on. Namaste correlates to what I was saying with turning in. Okay, so yeah, that's what I have for you so far. If the reading resonated in any way, Ashe, I'm grateful for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments or anything that you want to say, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I'm going to go ahead and go to your sister group, group 2, but I will see you guys in my next video. Okay? Bye, guys. Okay, what's going on in group 2? I went ahead off camera and pulled one of these little stones. These are like little plastic stones, but I got this bag filled with colored stones, and I really like them because a lot of them correlate to the chakras, and some of them just kind of mean different meanings to me. So I wanted to include them in today's reading. So I went ahead and pulled this one off camera from the bag, and it is clear, of course. And immediately I'm thinking of the actual real crystal, which is the clear quartz, which I have already on this table. In this jar, I have clear quartz and black obsidian up top. And I also have clear quartz right here. So I already have that on the table. I got y'all. But I'm also feeling like specifically for you guys, group 2, for me to pull that with you guys' intention, is really just saying that a cleanse may be needed. Maybe you guys are carrying a lot of energy on you guys, and you know, I'm feeling the word relax and rest. Yeah, I'm feeling that. Cleansings are super important in my world. They are very important. And there are things that you should be doing often and regularly in my world. So just as you would take a shower every day, or brush your teeth every day, or wash your face every day, you would also cleanse your energy every day, just like you would clean your house. There's a routine. I also don't want you to forget your spiritual side as well, and tending to the things that maybe you don't see but are still there. Like if you've noticed that you are particularly irritable a lot, if you notice that things are just constantly like you're experiencing a lot of blockages, things just are constantly not working, like no matter what way you go, you're being met with heavy resistance. Okay, I would say that a cleansing may be needed. I'm just saying. So, yeah. So, you know, I would say if that's something that resonates with you and you're a spiritual being, there are cleanses online, of course, that you can get. Spiritual cleanses is what I'm talking about. You can look up, you know, whatever your your specific practitioner. If they offer cleanses or cleaning kits or candles or whatever that you can burn to clear up some of that energy, remove some of those blockages, highly recommend you do that. At some point I will be offering cleanses as well. But just for right now, I am only offering the protection spell. So I just want to point that out, but I still need to tell you what I'm sensing. So that's why I'm saying a cleansing would be most appropriate. You can also look up books on different herbs and look up herbs that have cleansing, healing properties, and you can make your own little concoction. I would kind of advise that if you don't want to go with an actual person. Yeah, like for example, I'll just give you like maybe one off the top of my head. Like salt has cleansing properties, and so even if you were to just go and take like a Himalayan salt bath, I feel like you would kind of feel a lot of that stress melt off of you. So that's like an example of me giving you a element or an herb or you know, a spice or whatever that is probably in most people's kitchens that you can use as something that can just, you know, help. You can take salt and you can even put it into like a bag like this. And you can carry that on. You can carry it in your purse. You can put it in your car. You can put it under your pillow. Like I said, That's just a piece of advice off the top of my head to help if that's something that resonates with you. Now we're going to get into the reading. I was going to pick up the other card, the other deck of cards, but this one, as soon as I said that, fell off of my table. I hadn't even touched it yet. So we're going to go with this because Osho Zen wants to speak. And also, if you hear the wind outside my window, it's extremely windy, which is interesting because it was not this windy when I pulled up here. But as soon as I hit record now, all of a sudden, massive wind. Receptivity and sorrow. Okay. Understanding cycles is going to be very important on your journey, particularly. Sorrow and success. Okay. Yeah, understanding cycles, understanding that what goes up must come down. Understanding that with life, death comes as well. Understanding that as above, so below. Sometimes we get so caught up in the obligations that we, take on as being participating members of this earth, especially in first world countries. We have light bills, we have, cable bills, we have just like, ridiculous stuff, phone bills, Netflix accounts, Hulu, whatever, Anyway, my point is that we get so caught up with those little things that we forget that when it's all said and done at the end of the day, with light comes dark. And so, there are just fundamental, biological things that happen to us. And part of me feels like you guys maybe have forgotten that. And so you have experienced something that has kind of brought that back to your reality. So sometimes when we haven't faced our fears of death that a lot of us were taught to have, a lot of us were taught to be afraid of death. A lot of us were taught that, it's the unknown and we should be afraid of that because that means it's the end. It's finite. Once you die, that's it. It's the end of the world. And so we are kind of taught and conditioned to fear that. And so when it happens to someone around us, we have a hard time processing that they are gone. We have a hard time accepting that, they are no longer here in the way that we were accustomed to them being here. A lot of that also has to do with our unhealthy ways of attaching ourselves to things that should not be attached, like relationships. A lot of us, especially women, we tend to attach ourselves to relationships in a very unhealthy, unproductive, and oftentimes dangerous manner. And I would actually like to talk about attachment on a live stream. I actually really would like to do that. But something has happened, I will say. Something has happened. An attachment was severed, whether it was an actual relationship with a significant other and that person left. Typically that's usually how relationships are severed. I don't even know why I'm saying it like that. Relationship was severed, whether it was by choice or by death. Something happened and it caught you off guard. And now you were kind of feeling that loss. Now you are feeling that grief. Now it's kind of messing with your reality and it's bringing you to a really, really sad space. There's a lot of gray and black, tones in this image. And it's funny because this deck itself is very vibrant. A lot of the cards are very vibrant. So for the card to come out and say sorrow, and it's completely void of color, like this card or this card, is saying that the world right now for you, your reality, because your world and my world could be very different. So I'll say your world and your reality is void of a lot of color. And I'm only chuckling because I was trying to think of another word, but it's just color. And color is what makes us excited. You know, if things are only in grayscale, then, you know, where's the vibrancy? Where is the music? Where's the beat? And what I will say here to address this specific card is, you know, remembering what this all is a concept that I hold near and dear to my heart, because it reminds me not to get so attached to things that have life expectancies, not to get so attached to where I put myself in a delusional way of thinking, to where I think that this thing that has an expiration date is going to last forever in the way that I am experiencing it, because that's just not the way that this world, this reality works. Things have an expiration date. Every single person, and this is going to sound morbid, but bear with me, every single person that is born on this planet, every single thing, living thing that is born on this planet will cease to exist at some point. I don't care what science is trying to do right now with these weird cloning and ice chambers, and that sounds like people who are afraid of mortality. People who are trying to live forever. Why? Why do you want to live forever? You're messing up the natural cycle of life. Why would you want to interfere with the natural cycle of life? That's why I really feel like humans are probably one of the worst things to happen to this planet. Honestly, every other creature on this planet can flow the way that nature intended, but then humans come and we think we know everything. We think we do. We're supposed to be smarter, but we're the most destructive. And we're the most likely to go against the process, go against the flow and the resistance, go against nature, Mother Gaia. We go against it. And then wonder why global warming is a thing, or pollution is where it's at, why our wildlife, our marine life, is it marine life? Sea life, why they're being, come on, endangered species from hunting. Don't even get me started. My point is to say that trying to avoid something inevitable because of fear that you were conditioned to feel, I feel it's something that I feel like you, group 2, need to address. And I think that's honestly why the first thing that comes out for you guys when I pre-pulled was the crystal, the clear, I'm going to call it the clear crystal quartz. It's not actual, well, this is actually clear crystal quartz, but that was what came out and that's what it reminds me of. So I'm going to say it like that. It's a lot of cleansing that needs to happen. Cleansing of mindset as well. Cleansing of limiting beliefs. Cleansing of beliefs that put you in a state of constant fear. And I'm asking you, is that serving you? Because, you know, knowing that everything does have an expiration date would really be able to kind of give you an opportunity to cherish the things that are most beautiful in your life, and to cherish the relationships that mean the most in your life, because you don't know what will happen. That's a time to be in massive gratitude. And what's beautiful about allowing that to put you in a place of massive gratitude is when you are in massive gratitude, you are typically vibrating on a higher scale. And when you are typically vibrating on a higher scale, you are more likely to be in alignment with what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And when you are in more alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, the things that you want to send, the things that you want to manifest, the things that you are attracting come down without much resistance. Receptivity, where everything is constantly flowing. Even if you don't see it, everything is constantly flowing. Everything is constantly going. It doesn't take you believing in it for it to be true. And I want that to be something that is understood in this reading group too, is that Just because you believe in it or don't believe in it does not mean that it doesn't exist. Like, I can say I don't believe in gravity, but that does not mean that gravity ceases to exist. That's not how laws work. And I'm talking about natural laws, not the state of Utah saying X, Y, and Z about these people. I'm not talking about laws like that. I'm talking about natural laws that will continue to exist until the end of time. And this is the one of the laws where I am reminded of how, one, everything is connected. I am connected to you. We don't have to like it. We don't have to love each other. We don't even have to know each other. The point is that I am connected to you. We are connected to each other as beings. I'm connected to everything on this planet. And when you know that, and when you accept that, it allows for a certain level of gratitude. If I know that my relationship with my mother, for example, at some point in my life will cease to exist the way that I am used to it being because of either choice or because of death, it allows me to spend these days where she is here in the way that I'm used to her being here, cherishing those moments, being grateful for those moments, loving on her. Because I don't take the relationship for granted, because I know at some point it will expire. And it's not supposed to be morbid. It's morbid because you allowed someone to tell you it's morbid. You allowed yourself to you're allowing yourself to be in this depressive state because you can't accept truth. And that is kind of why you're in this little conundrum right now. It's the inability to accept what's happening. You're not accepting your reality for what it is. And my question, group 2, is why continue to repeat the thoughts that are only putting you in a more and more of a negative space? Now, I mentioned in group 1, and I mentioned to you guys as well, because I don't want you guys to think that what I'm saying is insensitive. I'm coming from a place of being a person who had significant anxiety and panic attacks and depressive episodes at one point in my life. So I'm not saying that because of that, I would fully understand where you're coming from with this. And I know this isn't going to hit everybody, but for the people that this is supposed to go to, I just want you to understand that what I have realized, and because my depressive episodes are not going to be your depressive episodes and vice versa, but what I have realized in mine is that there are certain beliefs and limitations that I was allowing to constantly cycle in and out of my thoughts, and I was accepting those. So even, for example, the last big major depressive cycle I had was my grandfather dying. I was unable to accept the fact that he was no longer here. I was in a complete stage of denial, and I understand that there's a grief process and a grief cycle, and one of the stages is denial. Just like there's one stage of acceptance and mourning. I get it. But the fact that I stayed in that stage for such a significant part of time that it was affecting my actual life and me being able to participate in it causing a debilitating, like it was causing debilitating habits like that. At that point, it's like, okay, what am I doing right now? Because nobody wakes up and says, I think I'll be depressed today. Nobody says that. I get it. I get that. But I also want you to understand, because this is something that I did not understand at the time, and maybe this is just a seed, but we all have, to some degree, a choice. Even if the slightest choice is to not accept that pattern of thought that just continues to rent free in your mind, that tells you have to be in this place. You cannot go outside. Don't answer the phone call from loved ones. You deserve to be in this space. Whatever those limiting thoughts, you always have even the slightest bit of choice to not accept that as truth. And I do see, I see with success that you have, I see this being kind of like a cycle. Like some of you guys have done this before, where something has happened that's kind of put you in a really low place or negative mood, and you stayed there for a spell, and then you were able to get back up and get out there and rock out in the world the way you used to. And that's the thing when it comes to situations like that. A lot of us, like, it's not just one depressive cycle or one panic attack. It typically is like one of many, or at least that was the story of my life. And so you kind of get a little used to it. You get familiar with it. Just like with my panic attacks, I got really used to the triggers. Like I began to realize when it was coming on. It didn't necessarily mean I was going to stop it. It just meant I could tell what was about to happen. So it was almost like I could brace myself for the impact that was about to happen. And I did that after, it's essentially kind of like practicing. Like once you do it so many times, you begin to get familiar with what's happening, sometimes before it even happens. And so I feel like for you guys, this is a cycle that you're living out, where you're up when you're up, and you're low when you're low. But there's so much to life. Friendliness. You have a lot of this is so cute. You have so much around you. There's so much love around you is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing 2 and 3, both numbers, 2 and 3. So in this case, 2 is signaling. I'm going to say signaling. 2 is signaling that you have at least one person who thinks the world of you. Group 2. You have at least one person who thinks the absolute world of you. And 3 is signaling. Why am I trying to combine those two? Is that even a word? But 3 is signaling that you have a few people who care about you. You have at least one person that thinks the world of you, and you have a few people at least that genuinely care about you and would be there for you. And to me, that's favor. That's enough to at least reach out and say, hey, I don't want you guys to sleep on your resources here. Don't sleep on your resources. I don't want you guys, group 2, to feel like you have to rock this out by yourself. You absolutely do not. And sometimes how do I say this? Spirit puts people in our lives for a reason. I'll say it like that. Spirit puts people in our lives for a reason. There are relationships that you have for a reason. And those people can help. But it would take you kind of getting outside of your ego, and maybe even kind of humbling yourself just a little bit to say, hey, I need someone to come sit with me. Or, I need someone to come get me and take me outside. I feel like you have that support system, and that support system is there for a reason. Turning in. This is funny because this is the same card that was in group 1. And so for the sake of this reading, which is supposed to be feel good, which sometimes it's so funny. Sometimes I'll say this is the intention, and then I'll read the cards and it can kind of come off like I'm really being harsh. And that's just, I think, the way that my messages come across because of just how I am. But I really do hope that you guys receive it as just I'm like your big sister or your auntie. and I care so much about every single one of you beautiful beings. And if I can just say a few words that kind of either make you snap out of it or kind of make you feel just a little bit more encouraged to where you're wanting to go out and face the world, then I'm happy. I'm happy because I don't want anything from you all except for you guys to live the life that you wanted to. And I know that that's possible for every single person. Every single person who's committed to it, I know it's possible. But anyway, so this is coming in, and I'll say for this reading, this is kind of asking you to rise above the energy in that card. It's asking you to rise above it. Experiencing. Let's go for the rest of the other cards. I said the word, but I didn't say what. I didn't really. I mean, the word is kind of self-explanatory, but this card is. I know if you remember at the beginning of the reading, I was talking about attachments and how sometimes we form unhealthy attachments to things, and so when that attachment severs, when that connection severs in whatever way, whether it's by choice or by death, sometimes we have a hard time accepting that. Sometimes we have a problem rejecting our reality. And a lot of times when we reject our reality, we end up here in this grieving stage, in this sorrow stage, in this wallowing stage of just kind of being in a negative space. But if you just remember what this all is, which is what I told you, that concept that I hold near and dear to my heart, remember what this all is, then you remember that life is an experience. And so it's meant for you to just go along and, go through it. And if it hurts, it hurts. If it was fun, it's fun. And you take it for what it is. And if there was a lesson learned in that, then you learn the lesson and you move forward. And life does not have to be this complicated, jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't have to be that. And those who tell you it is they're only telling you what they have limited themselves to believe. But if you don't want to accept that, you don't have to accept that. Sacred union partnership. Sacred union, partnership, romance. So this is two sides. One of the sides is me telling you that if you find yourself in this situation, this sorrow moment, or this cycle, this negative cycle, this depressive cycle, if you find yourself in that place, some of you do have a partner that you are not allowing yourself to be open, honest, and vulnerable with. And to that, I will ask you, what is the point of the relationship if you cannot do those things? What is the point? Did you marry, or did you choose this person because of business? Or did you choose this person because you were seeking out a life partner? Is this person your soulmate? I need you guys to figure out what this person is instead of just existing with them, because then you'll be able to operate and make decisions based off of that. So if you have assessed that your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, whatever, if you have assessed that this person is also your best friend, well, then sometimes they need to switch hats. Sometimes you may not need your husband, you just need your best friend. And sometimes if you decide, and when you decide that you need your best friend, you go and tell them, I need the best friend within my husband right now because this is what I'm feeling. This is the cycle I'm in, and I need your support. I need your prayers. I need your good intentions. I need you to speak life and light into me. Because that's what you need right now. That's what you need right now. And so some of you guys need to utilize your partnership for what it's supposed to be. And so I will also speak to the flip side of that. Some of you guys, you were here because of your partnership. Some of you are here because something happened within that union. And I want you to understand as well, because this is now, it's giving, I'm going to ask actually, because I'm trying to figure out, is this twin flame or is this karmic? Because if you're constantly going through cycles like this up and down and there's no actual stability, it's going to start affecting your ability. The instability can affect you. Karmic. Clinging to the past. Karmic. Some of you, this is what I was saying. Is this karmic or is this a twin flame? Because that'll tell me everything I need to know about what you guys need to be doing. So you guys maybe are in relationships that are always going through, ups and downs and goods and bads. And, it's just kind of this law of reciprocity, which is what we're talking about right here with receptivity. But you give and receive what he gives and receives. And you're like, okay, well, this is who I love. This is who I'm with. But I'm like, yeah, but it's karmic. It's karmic. Meaning this person came in your life to teach you a lesson because of some stuff you did. And you were supposed to learn the lesson and say thank you. I bid you adieu or goodbye, whatever, and they take their leave. But you decided to stay with them. You decided to build a life with them. You even probably decided to have kids with them, but you're still trying to figure out why, after all of these positive decisions I made with this person, is my life still hell? And it's because you made decisions that you would make with a life partner. You made them with a karmic partner, and it's the epitome of having a puzzle piece that you keep trying to fit into this puzzle, this one spot. You keep insisting that this puzzle piece goes there when it's not supposed to go there. And so because you've decided, well, I'm going to make it fit. And so you beating on the space, trying to squish the puzzle piece in there. And every now and again, the puzzle piece gives way and pops back up, and you get mad and you're like, I got to go put it back in there. And you're mad because it's like, why won't it stay? But it's like the puzzle piece was not supposed to be there. I'm sorry. I sometimes have to just be the bearer of not so good news. And I'm going to be very real with you. But it's not that karmic partnerships don't ever work. It's that you are going to probably have to work a lot harder on them. I don't like speaking in definitive terms because we all have free will. You can choose who you want to be with. You can choose who you want to procreate with. You can choose who you want to share your life with. Because this life, like I said, I am a firm believer that this life is all about experiences. It's not about good or bad or right or wrong to me. It's not. I've gotten to this place in my reality where I understand that what I perceive as good, the next person can perceive as bad. And what that person could perceive as good, I could perceive as bad. So I don't put those boxes and titles on general concepts, especially when I'm talking to people. So I want you to understand, I'm not saying karmic is bad. What I'm saying is karmic serves a specific role. And once that role is fulfilled, just like there are people that come in your life for seasons, some people are meant to stay for permanent lifetime. Some people are meant to stay for a couple months. If you decide to stay with someone for a couple of months, you will not experience the same thing you would with someone that you were supposed to experience this lifetime with. It's just a very different energy. And so you will more than likely have to work harder. You will more than likely end up, in more conflict. But that's the life that you chose. So it's not about being mad at yourself for wallowing. If this is what you want to do, make it happen. But I'm just putting you on notice that this is what this is. So it's two different types of people. Either way, I still believe you do have the support system behind you. Even if the support system gets on your nerves sometimes, or maybe you want to just be like, forget them. They don't understand. They still love and care about you. And I do feel like this person does too. Whoever this is, they do care about you. So you either are in a karmic relationship, and the only way you'll know is if you are feeling this way because of your partner. If you are not feeling this way because of your partner, then everything I just recently said is not about you. If you are feeling this sorrow because of something else that happened in your life, like a death, like you experienced a death, you experienced something traumatic, and you have a partner, then you need to reach out for your partner. Your partner needs to be there. But if you are here because of your partner, it's karmic. Whoa. My cards are jumping today. What about in this deck for group 2, please? The collective that picked group 2, what messages do we have for them in this deck, please? Words of encouragement. Advice, guidance, inspiration. Thank you. What is that? Meditation. Meditation comes out. I'm sensing that sometimes when this reality, I feel like sometimes this reality can become a bit much. And I think that you guys, those of you guys who are not familiar with meditation and what it can do, when you get to a point where you practice sitting in silence and learning how to silence the mind, learning how to silence the thoughts, you open gateways, you open lines of communication with, you open lines of communication with spirit guides, with source energy, with even other entities out there that want to communicate with you, that can help you. I feel like there's also some support systems out there. That's kind of what I'm feeling like. There's so much for you to learn, not only about yourself, but about what this all is in meditation. You guys are, how do I say this? I feel like you guys are, you guys are prophetic. I'll say it like that. You guys are prophetic, meaning you see things. You can see things like visions. You can see things that come into fruition. You can speak over people. And I think that's why you get so affected when things happen and you're so reactive. And it's because you have these visions. Like you can see when something bad is going to happen to somebody before it happens. I mean, you can call it psychic, but I'm going to call it prophetic just because I feel like you're seeing these things as a direct source of spirit communicating with you. What you have to find out is why. And some of you don't understand what it is that you're supposed to do with this. You don't understand what your purpose is. You don't understand the why. And I think that it would serve you to investigate that. And the way that you can do that is through meditation. I think that a lot of those answers help. And that honestly may explain why you find yourself in these depressive states, because you don't understand your why yet. So instead of staying here and constantly cycling out those negative emotions and those dispelling thoughts, and those negative thoughts, try sitting in this space, but meditating. Try doing this while you're here and come back to me, see what happens. Because I feel like there's so much for you, but you have to shift your focus. You have to open your mind up for the communication to pour into you. So that is your reading, group 2. I am chuckling because, like I said, I know I said these are supposed to be feel good. I think they're feel good. But they're also, like I said, I would be unauthentic if I did not share what the cards are saying. So if the reading helped at all, if it resonated, if it hit home, if you received a nugget, a seed, help, advice, clarity, insight, guide, if you received any of that, ashe, 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 I am so grateful that you were receptive. And I hope it helps. If you want to share or if you want to comment or anything, let me know. Leave me a comment in the comment section. If you want to participate in the protection spell that I'm doing on Monday, I think I said in the intro, but please let me know before April 11th, 2022, before 12 noon Central Standard Time. Let me know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go to your sister group, group 3, but I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. What's going on, group 3? Welcome to your reading. I am here to give you guys feel good messages. And I'm laughing because I do this all the time. I'm sorry. I don't know. I may be the only reader in history. I'm not sure, but I will say feel good messages or whatever. And I guess my definition may be sometimes different. But like, I don't know. I have to say what comes out. And sometimes I'm realizing like sometimes it may not feel like feel good messages immediately, but I think they're feel good messages because I don't know. I just feel like, there's things that I say that I acknowledge their seeds. I do. I acknowledge their seeds. Sometimes there are things that just need to kind of sit and grow and kind of, set roots before you understand what I'm saying. I know for some of you guys, not all of you, some of you get it, but for the girls that don't, no, I'm just playing. But anyway, so yeah, I say feel good messages. I hope they're feel good messages to you. Even if they don't feel that way initially, they will. I do believe in that. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and jump into it. First things first, I am pulling, I don't know what these are yet. They're like little plastic. Well, these are plastic crystals. I don't know what I'm calling this though, but I want to start pulling these out. I have this little velvet baggie, and they're filled with colored little plastic stones, and a lot of them have the colors of chakras on them, and some of them do not. And and yeah, so I'm going to start pulling these. And again, I just think that everything has symbolism. So even colors have symbolism. Symbols, herbs, roots, tarot, oracle, everything is symbolic. Okay. And so I'm big on symbolism, so I'm using them. Anyway, I pulled yours off camera. And you have white. And so I'm going to just kind of go off of, I'm just going to kind of tell you guys a little bit about the white. And like I said, it's a plastic stone, but it's white. And so I'm seeing that represent for you guys, group 3, that you're very, I want to say white to me is kind of like blank. It's like canvas. It's ready. It's open. It's willing. Okay. White is oftentimes also correlates with light. It correlates with kind of like free flowing. So like for example, like when I think of shadow work, I also think of light workers. And I just kind of see this card being something that represents like fresh innocence, blank canvas, open people. And that's what I feel like you guys are. You're very open. So let's just see where that's going. So the Lover's card wanted to come out immediately. And when I say immediately, I meant like as soon as I shuffled. So the Lover's card is coming out. And we're just going to go ahead and ask for some clarification right off the rip, because what? So what is the Lover's card supposed to be, Spirit? What are we saying with that? What are we trying to give group 3? What are we giving group 3? Cards are so jumpy this reading. We have sharing, and we have the burden. Interesting. So I want to talk about the burden really quickly. So sometimes when we position ourselves to be helpful to people, or guides or teachers, any type of position where someone is looking up to you, that comes with a lot of responsibility. Sometimes responsibility that we don't realize is coming with, or sometimes we're like, oh, we didn't prep for that. We didn't know that came with it. And so I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you had kind of positioned yourself with someone that you care deeply about, like a lover, okay? Someone that you are, romantically involved with. Sometimes, so I feel like maybe you guys have positioned yourself in a place where you were trying to help them, you were trying to teach them, you were trying to guide them, you're trying to mentor them. You positioned yourself in some sort of way where they are kind of taking advice from you. And I don't really know if that's really what you wanted, what you really wanted to do. There was this argument that I saw online talking about divine feminine, and how I think the post was something about, when you're in divine feminine, like, you kind of want the masculine to kind of lead. And I'm not going to say I necessarily disagree with that. And primarily because oftentimes, because energy, I'm sorry if you guys can hear the siren in the background. It's actually like mad distracting. So give me a second. I'm going to wait for it to pass. All right, it passed. So I will say that sometimes when you have one energy of divine feminine and one energy of divine masculine, one is typically going to be the head, and the other one is going to kind of basically be the tail. I mean, everything has a position, everything has a function, a purpose, and a role. And it's when we kind of veer outside of those roles that we typically kind of end up making a mess is basically what I will say. Now, I'm not one of those people that say women should just definitively submit to a man, or men are, completely the head of a household. I'm not going to say that. One, because that would mean that I was blanketly saying something that is so tailored to every single person's individual, unique experiences and life. I'm just going to say that both energies, I feel like in the name of balance, should be present. It has nothing to do with gender, and it has nothing to do with like gender roles or anything like that. But what I'm saying is in the name of balance, because what we can't argue is balance. There's yin and yang for a reason. There's up and down for a reason. As above, so below for a reason. And so there must be balance. Just so there is divine feminine and then there is divine masculine. And when you have too much of one thing, things will be I can't talk. Imbalanced, basically. And so sometimes we start to feel that in our own relationships. And maybe that's what's happening here, is there is some imbalance between you and your lover, where you are taking on a role that necessarily is not the most authentic to you. And again, nothing to do with gender specifically. This is not about male or female. This is about energy. Okay. And so there is an energy you are taking on that you should not be taking on. And thus there is a leftover energy that they are either taking on that they're not supposed to, or they're taking on the same energy you are. Again, imbalance. Okay. Things need to be equally yoked. I do believe in that. I think things need to be equally yoked. And that's where sharing comes in. So the way I see it, you kind of have two options, and I'm going to keep shuffling because I'm feeling the urge to shuffle. You have two options. You can either swap positions. So if they're going to take on divine femme, you need to take on divine masculine. If you don't want to take on masculine, but you find yourself in masculine, you and this person need to have a very serious talk if they're the ones that are supposed to be taking that on. Because what will tend to cause disruption is if two people are playing the same role. And again, this is not, I want to, because I know sometimes I can say things that are kind of like not the most popular opinion, but I mean, if you think about like seriously, everything has a role. If the heart decided, I wanted, instead of being the heart and doing the things the heart is supposed to do, the heart decides, I want to take on the role of the kidneys. But the kidneys are doing that job too. What is the heart doing? Like, the heart is out of order. The heart is out of alignment. The body will die. Okay? Like, it can't sustain. Everyone has a function. Everyone has a purpose. Everyone has a why. And that's why it's so important, before you even find yourself in positions like this where you're with someone, you figure out who you are separate. Figure out who you are separate. Make sure your cup is full. Make sure you know what it is that you want before you find your person. Why? Because it makes this a hell of a lot easier. I will say that. But some of us don't do that. I didn't do that. So I'm not, look, I'm saying because I didn't do that, and now I'm in this partnership, there are a lot of things that I have had to learn the hard way. Okay. When it comes to relationships, that I don't feel like I would have needed to learn had I just did the work myself for myself first. I also see this sharing coming in to represent. I feel like it's a baby coming. I do feel like that as well, and maybe that's why there's this like blank canvas. And it's so funny because, as I said, I see light with this little fake little gem over here, but then now we have nothingness. And at the same time, I'm looking at sharing here with and sharing, she's done up, she's dolled up, she's got all the jewelry that she probably owns on her, and she has a platter full of food. She's in abundance. And then I see a little face in the heart. So I'm like, okay, things maybe need to be realigned and in order, because a baby is coming. And a baby is going to, and that's also one of the things that I feel like are most beneficial when it comes to energies, is that when a baby comes, and this is my reality, this is my belief system, it doesn't have to be something that you believe in, okay? But when a baby comes, a baby is seeking both energies. A baby is seeking both divine masculine and a divine feminine energy. Again, not to do with gender, it's the energies, okay? But babies come in and they don't understand anything outside of balance, because balance is most natural and biological. Everything has to be in balance. Everything. And that's not an argument. Like that's a law. But anyway, I'm not even gonna go into that. But I'm seeing that a baby should be coming forth. Something is coming. Something permanent. Thunderbolt. Yeah. Something is coming. That typically would be similar to a tower card. Tower moment. And okay, so now we have Thunderbolt and transformation. What did I just say? I keep telling you, something is coming. Something very big. Something that you cannot change. Something that you cannot ignore. Life will be changed forever. I see baby. I'm sorry. So I hope I'm not ruining surprises from people. But yeah, congratulations on your baby for some of you. And for some of you, this really, it may not necessarily be like an actual physical baby, even though I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is a baby. But for some of you guys, birth can also represent like a massive change or shift, something growing inside of you, something that was brewing, like a major thought and idea. Oftentimes this can be like a new business. This can also represent a new invention. This just represents a huge flow of newness that can come in. But I also see baby. So I'm just going to point that out and keep pointing that out. But I will say, like I said, this space is kind of like I said, initial in the intro, the initial intention of this reading specifically is to provide some feel good thoughts. So if for whatever reason you were kind of wanting to start a family and you were having a hard time starting a family, or things weren't working, maybe you experienced something very traumatic, something negative, you're having issues conceiving, or maybe you've had a miscarriage, or something to that extent, basically. Or maybe you're wanting a baby, but you're just kind of upset because of the timing. What I will say is, one, you want to make sure that you get your household in order. I would say kind of focusing on what energy you're walking in. Most of my viewers are women. Okay. And I also want to say with that, because most of my women are women, I feel like a lot of you guys are also, it resonates with you to walk in divine feminine energy. And so if it does resonate to walk in divine feminine energy, then your role is to focus on creating space, being a creator. Okay. So you are not supposed to be worrying about the tangible stuff. Okay. Your womb is your priority. You healing from the things that could prevent the baby from thriving in womb is priority. And that's why I was saying, make sure that your household is set up. Make sure that your household, everyone knows what role they're supposed to be in, because you can't take on more than what you're supposed to, and neither is your partner. Okay, so this is going to be a conversation that you're going to need to have. Thunderbolt is here, and it's like, okay, we're going to have to shake some stuff up. Some people are going to feel how they feel about it, but everybody needs to get it together, because something is coming. Transformation is coming. There's a change. You're assuming a new title, whether that's mom, whether that's dad, whether that's business owner, whether that's entrepreneur, whether that's millionaire, whatever title that is, it's coming, but it's asking you to get your house in order. I'm going to take a card off the top. Guilt. What is that? What are you putting? You're putting yourself in some sort of mental prison. It's giving 8 of Swords. What is that? What is this anguish for? Why are you angry? And if you are angry, before we even figure that out, I'm going to tell you to let it go. Creativity. I need my light. Anyway, yeah, guilt, creativity. So, and this is Empress energy too, by the way. Creativity, Empress energy. So again, we're reinforcing something being birthed and divine feminine. Creativity, this is the card of supreme divine feminine energy. And like I said before, your focus should be on womb care. Your focus should be on creating the space that you need to kind of, you ever see animals, when they know they're about to give birth, and they're if you've noticed, if you've ever paid attention, you can either just YouTube it. Even dogs, the expecting mom dog, she just acts different. She just has this different aura about herself. She knows when something is coming, and she's focusing on making sure that she is in a place where she can take care of not only herself, but what's about to come out from her. And if you've noticed, sometimes even mom dogs, the dad dog, the daddy dog, like the mom will even dismiss him sometimes. Like if she's trying to focus on what she's doing, like it's not even about, you know, me and you right now. Like I'm focusing on this, because that right, I just feel like that's one of those examples of like everyone has their role. Like the dad dog's not supposed to feel no kind of way because she's over here giving birth and taking care of the little newborn puppies or whatever that she's doing, because he's supposed to be making sure they got food for tonight, you know. I know this is so cliche, and I get it's like so like like 1960s. And I will say that I do know that there is a huge problem with like women particularly feeling like I shouldn't be dismissive, and like, you know, even I'm familiar now with the manosphere and messing about how like, you know, high value men and women being, and you know, I get that everyone has their theologies, and I'm not dismissing anyone's, because like I said, I respect everybody's reality. I really do. But I do think that there are some things that are just in the name of balance and in the name of nature. And what a woman can do is not something that is unnatural. Giving birth is very natural. A woman wanting to nest, that energy of nesting, that is very natural. That's not something that is taught. That's something that you feel from your being, because it's what you're supposed to be doing. So that's why I'm saying there are things that we do that are just natural. And then there are things that people have come in and tried to condition us to believe and accept and blase. Like, for example, that you have to give birth in a hospital. That is not natural. That is a conditioned belief. So that's an example, because our ancestors have been giving birth to children in all kinds of places. And having a kid in a hospital does not guarantee you anything. I'm just going to put that out there. But I will say, the fact that guilt comes out clarified by creativity is telling me maybe you are focusing on the things that you're not supposed to be focusing on. You're probably trying to focus on, you know, I don't want to give examples actually, because then I feel like that's going down a path I don't want to go into. I'm just going to say it like this, because I feel like you guys will know who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. But there are things that you are taking from your partner that they should be doing. You are taking it upon yourself to do, because maybe you have control issues, maybe you have trust issues, but you need to let him do it, because you need to be focusing on creativity. You need to be focusing on womb care. And when I say creativity, I don't mean going and drawing a picture. I mean creating space for you and your little one, because everyone knows the first however many weeks or whatever, the child is attached to the mother. Again, this is nature. This isn't a theory. This is natural. And so it is your job to create the environment that you believe in your heart and that spirit is telling you you need for your child. Not to stress out about it. Guilt right here. Don't stress out about it. It's not about, well, I don't have it right now, so I'm going to freak out. It's about you using your divine feminine energy, because you are naturally psychic. You are a portal. You are magic. Okay. It is about you utilizing that to bring into fruition. Manifest that shit. If you don't have it, manifest it. Focus on your burning desire being, I need a bassinet. I need a baby room. I need diapers. I don't know. I don't have kids, so I don't know what all is needed. But focusing on that and not what your partner is supposed to do, whether it's a he, she, I'm not sure, but like whatever they're supposed to do, let them do it. Stop taking their stuff. They have to become responsible. Like I said, you're burdening yourself trying to do everything. Let them do it. They got it. And if they don't have it, then that needs to be a whole other conversation. But I do feel like they have it, because we have transformation. they're probably not going to show up and become the person that they need to be, the father or the mother, whatever that title is. They're not going to show up to be that unless you step aside and make that happen. You stepping aside is making them show up. Pull another one from the top. Clinging to the past. Flowering. I don't know how many feminine energy things we need to come out here with. Now we have this like flower little situation where this woman with a belly, by the way, is sitting on, and she's in this little bubble. And I keep telling you guys to focus on that. Focus on your little bubble right here, and don't worry about what they're doing. They got it. And I get that sometimes, like, you got to let go of the past too. Maybe you're like this. Maybe you're in this burdening phase because of what they've done in the past. Your partner, maybe they didn't show up in the way that you got to let it go. You got to let it go. It's not serving you. It's shielding your vision. You can't even see their face because of boxes on their face, because they're focusing on watching and playing back everything that happened in the past. And it's like, if you were going to choose to move on with this person, procreate with this person, start a family, continue life with this person, then you gotta tell yourself, you know what, I gotta let it go, because these thoughts aren't serving me. You're in a place of opportunity, massive opportunity. Not just for a baby, but to change the trajectory of your relationship. To step into a completely different level and place within your relationship. But holding on to the past is not going to help you in that. The winged wise ones, angelic help and miraculous aid. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to pull from this really quick, and then I'm going to speak. Forward movement. And she's sitting on a flower, and butterflies are kind of moving her forward. You have favor, and I feel like you do have the help of you have spiritual help. You have angelic help is what it's saying on the card, but things are happening for you. And so when I mentioned earlier, because now I'm just starting to kind of think back on the things that I was kind of just spurting out and saying. And one of the things I said was, you know, maybe you were having a hard time conceiving, or maybe you were currently having a hard time conceiving. And, you know, you're just like, I'm just in this slump of a place right now. And I'm really upset about the fact that, you know, nothing is coming from this. We do have this nothingness card coming. And so I can see you guys feeling very like hopeless. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that, you know, talking to angels, your angels, doing work with angels, doing work with angels for favor can help. Okay. Like I said, I see favor from you. I see things working out the way that you want them to work out when it comes to fertility, or when it comes to birthing this idea. We have a messenger bird. We have a sun. These are charms. We have a sun. We have the word imagine. And imagine is like, again, I'm reminding myself of what I was saying before about creativity, and how it's not necessarily what you think when you hear the word creativity. What I'm speaking about specifically is manifesting. What I'm speaking of is the idea behind law of attraction, and using that to create what it is that you want to create for you and your growing family, or your growing idea. Because I did say this may not always hit with actual physical baby, but this could be what a baby would symbolize as well, which is the birth of something new, something that you've been holding on to, something that you've been brewing inside and haven't really come out with, like an idea or an invention or whatever. But it also requires you continuing to visualize what it is that you want to see, and not settling for less than that. But sun is coming in, that's good news. And you have the messenger bird. And the messenger bird, when you think about in the Bible, it was supposed, the bird came back to show Noah that, it's done. I mean, I think that's what he said. I don't know. I'm a heathen. So go read the book. I don't even know what book it is. But the point is that it's a good sign. It's a good symbol. It's a symbol of hope. And then the flower, I see flowers a lot in this reading. It's coming up in like 3 different cards. There's a lot of flowers. It's a lot of winged things going on. You're moving. No, I mean like you're probably going to move. You're probably going to move. You're probably going to move spaces, expand spaces. And I also see flowers being a symbol of growing. So, I kind of in summation, I'm just like, whatever is coming from you, whatever's supposed to be birthed from you is going to be such a beautiful, and enlightening experience for you. And I don't want you to focus so much on lack. I want you to use this opportunity, use this time, use this free space to visualize what it is that you want, to instill that burning desire into what it is that you want, and then start acting as if you already have it so you can match the frequency. Okay, that way you are in alignment with what it is that you are desiring, and the universe comes and brings it to you. That's literally law of attraction. You can also call for help. This card is coming in and saying your spirit team is there. It's waiting for you. It's on standby. Do not forget about them. And there's movement. Like I said, like I see you moving spaces. I see you growing your space. And my other thing is just my piece of advice for you guys is to just check with your partner, whoever they are. Make sure that y'all are on one accord about roles, responsibilities. It doesn't have to be my roles or what happens in my household or your parents' household or your neighbors down the street. It doesn't have to be anyone else's household as far as what it is that y'all decide to do, but you both have to be on the same page about it. You have to be on the same page about it. Because you don't want to feel burdened, and you do not want this over here, this guilt. Sorry about my nose. Allergies. But anyway, I hope this reading resonated, group 3. If it did at any point, Ashe, I'm grateful for that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you wanted to join in on the protection spell that I'm doing, like I said, I know it's super last minute, but I'm doing it tomorrow night on 4/11/22. And if you want to be a part of it, let me know, because I will need to get some information from you. I'm not charging for this, which is kind of a big deal for me because I spend money on like everything, materials, all kinds of stuff, but I really, really want to make sure I extend this opportunity to people who want to be a part of it. So if that resonates with you, leave a comment or hit me up on Instagram, and we can get it. I can make sure I can get your information, what the petition is, all that good jazz, and we can get you signed up. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.